We got you updated. This is Radio Imanzi News in English.
To Radio Imanzi, broadcasting from Kigali. Here is the news in English, brought to you by Fiona Umuganwa. The headlines. President Paul Kagame met with the Singaporean Prime Minister and discussed how they can build on the existing relations between the two countries. TVET National Practical Exams started this Monday and will run until July 15th. Welcome back. News in detail. President Paul Kagame met with the Singaporean Prime Minister today, Lee Long, and discussed how they can build on the existing relations between the two countries. Manzi Prince has this report.
The meeting comes after the Prime Minister came to Rwanda to attend the 26th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. Addressing the media after holding a tete-a-tete meeting, President Kagame said they agreed that the two countries are going to be doing even more together in the coming years ahead. He recognized Singapore as Rwanda's reliable partner over the years and that Rwanda values the links between the central banks of the two countries, trade and investments.
I want to thank Singapore for being a reliable partner over the years. We value highly the trade and investment links, as well as the cooperation between our central banks. Both our countries have created a strong foundation. Singapore's development model and its commitment to social cohesion and national unity are very impressive.
Prime Minister Long, who is on his first visit to Africa, said he is looking forward to working with President Kagame and to ensure ties continue to grow.
Cooperation to improve our societies and our people's lives. Both seek to work with other small countries to secure peace, progress and prosperity for our peoples in a dangerous world. I therefore look forward to working closely with President Kagame to ensure that the relationship between our two countries continues to grow from strength to strength.
Singapore is Rwanda's largest trading partner in the world, with approximately $150 million worth of foreign direct investments made by Singapore companies in Rwanda.
Thank you, Prince. Moving on ahead, the technical and vocational training national practical exams have started and will run until July 15th. The official launch was held at SOS Technical High School located in Tinyinya Sector, Gasabo District. The Director General of National Examination and School Inspection Authority, Bernard Bahati, said 20,136 students were registered to sit for the national exam, and those include 8,929 males and 11,207 females. He noted that the national practical exams help the institution assess the ability of the students who are enrolled in 36 trades on what they are going to take to the labor market, adding that the results reflect what they are capable of doing. He revealed that the government has invested 800 million Rwandan francs in buying consumables to be used during the examination and urged students to do their best and show what they have learned. Economic news is a regular feature on Radio Imanzi. Now, the Rwanda Stock Exchange Market Report. The trading session recorded its total turnover of 1,579,500 Rwandan francs worth of bonds traded in one deal on the fixed income market and 53,000 Rwandan francs from 200 Bank of Kigali shares traded in one deal on the equities market. The equities counters closed with Bank of Kigali at 265 Rwandan francs, Bralirwa at 160 Rwandan francs, I&M Bank at 43 Rwandan francs, M10 Rwanda at 177, Simerwa at 120, Equity Bank at 440, Kenya Commercial Bank at 370, National Media Group at 1,200, Uchumi Supermarket at 104 Rwandan francs, and RH Buffalo closed the counter at 526 Rwandan francs as the market closed. The currency market review of today. The Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.6 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 8.7. Tanzanian shilling buying price was 0.43 and the selling price was 0.44. Ugandan shilling buying price was 0.26 and the selling price was 0.27. Burundian franc buying price was 0.49 and the selling price was 0.5. The US dollar buying price was 1,013 and the selling price was 1,033. The British pound buying price was 1,244 and the selling price was 1,269. The euro buying price was 1,071 and the selling price was 1,092 Rwandan francs. There you have it. Now we come to the end of tonight's edition. However, Radio Imanzi is going to present you the highlights from the event hosted by the University of Kigali, which was among the last side events closing the Commonwealth Heads of Government Meeting 2022. The University of Kigali, in partnership with the Commonwealth Business Women Network, hosted a Commonwealth Heads of Government Meeting 2022 side event under the theme Technology and Innovation, an agenda for Rwanda's term as Commonwealth Chair. The co-founder of the University of Kigali, Mr. Philbert Africa, said the conversations focused on what should be done to close the existing gaps in terms of technology and innovation.
A conversation on what we should do to make sure that we close the existing gap in terms of nations with regard to technology and innovation, and also particularly as it affects some vulnerable groups like women and youth. So today we had a very good discussion. We examined the challenges, particularly we recognize the importance of technology and innovation for the promotion of the economic growth and the opportunities that they provide for people to do businesses, like women, like women and the youth. In fact, one of the discussions we had in what we can take out of this meeting is that to be able to close the digital and to be able to achieve innovation, we need a partnership between various actors. We need a partnership between government, we need a partnership between the private sector, we need a partnership within the NGOs, and we need more partnership with the university or the academia. You know, university, if you are talking of digital and you are talking of innovation, definitely you are talking of knowledge. And the universities are set up to provide that knowledge. They can provide knowledge to youth, they can provide knowledge to women. For example, if you take the University of Kigali today, we are having about 6,000 students. Out of those 6,000 students, 50% of them are girls. And if you take the age of those students, you find out that 90% of the students are below the age of 30. Now, if you can provide knowledge about digital, about IT, about innovation, then you are sure that you can be able to reach the existing, to close the existing gap between the nations, between the population, and you can be able to reach a good number of women who become technological literate and who can be able to access internet, who can be able to become also innovative in their businesses. University of Kigali can take a certain number of actions. As I said, the first action we can take is to make sure that we provide high quality education. High quality education that anybody who comes out of the university has got the right education to be able either to be immediately employed or to be capable of self-employing himself. I think the first element that we can be able to do. The second element is that we have to be able to carry out research so that we can be able to understand what are the challenges that we are facing in terms of technological transformation, in terms of innovation, and be able to advise the policymakers of the action to take to be able to accelerate digital transformation and innovation. The third action that we can take is to develop some incubation programs, entrepreneurship incubation programs, so that we can train people into the creation of enterprises, into the creation of how you make startups, how you can be able to access funding, and so on and so forth. So again, it's type of knowledge creation. And also, we can have some programs that are targeted to women, to be able to provide business skills, to be able to mentor them, and to be able to coach them. So there are a lot of things that universities can do to promote digital transformation and innovation. You know, when you talk of innovation, you are talking of ideas, but you can have good ideas if you are well educated. One of the discussions we had today was in line with the theme that has been chosen. But we try to make it sure that we bring it down to the level of vulnerable groups, such as women and the youth. The recommendation we can make is that to be able to accelerate technology innovation, we need a strong partnership among all the actors. We need a partnership between, as I said, the private sector, government, the academia, and the NGOs and the industries. And if we work all together, definitely we can have a strong transformation as it comes to the digital transformation and innovation. Partnership is the key. One of the programs that we have in the university is the IT programs. And one of the IT programs, we are teaching students on digital transformation, we are teaching students on innovation ideas and everything. So it's one of the major programs that we have in the university. But we are going to be able to enhance that education as we're moving forward.
The ambassador of Gambia to Switzerland, Professor Muhammadu Moka, said connectivity and digital divide is a reality, and those that are most affected are rural communities. He says ensuring that there is true, meaningful connectivity for rural communities will be critical.
Connectivity and digital divide is a reality, and those that are affected most are rural communities. Prioritizing ensuring that there is true, meaningful connectivity that is affordable, reliable, and broadband in nature for our rural communities and remove the barrier of affordability will be critical for rural communities to truly benefit from digitalization. It's not only access, it's not only providing connectivity for rural communities, but more importantly, to enable them to afford it. Also, it is important that digital skilling is reinvigorated and stepped up in our rural communities. It is important that they are provided with the platform to truly benefit from the enormous resources digitally for their communities, and also to build the digital infrastructure and data infrastructure, especially in areas of agriculture and health and services that will serve them, so that they are part of the broader inclusivity that is often talked about. It is a collective responsibility to collaborate and partner if we truly want to solve the digital divide and connectivity and affordability. It is crucial that it goes beyond just government. It's not only government that can solve this. It should be the collective efforts of the governments, the private sector, the civil society organization, and of course our universities are critical. If all of these are organized, supported, and we improve and smarten the policy and regulatory regimes to open up the space for investors, private or otherwise, to join government, we will truly solve the connectivity and digital divide. If we don't solve this, it will be a challenge for us to be true participants to build the ecosystem for technology and innovation for our countries in the coming. Rwanda is a shining example of Africa on the agility and the speed of adaptation and engagement. Governments, everyone, should be agile, because this is beyond sovereignty. It is beyond our national borders. It's the next frontier. The fourth industrial revolution is already evolving to the fifth industrial revolution and beyond. So moving fast and agility and the discipline and the focus, as well as the capacity and competency, is a must. Policy has to be evidence-based to enable us to move faster. We cannot afford to make mistakes or to be playing catch-up, because what is at stake globally in the new frontier of competition and survivability and our collective security is increasingly digital and emerging technologies. We must be participants to build the capacity and competencies across the board on artificial intelligence, on machine learning, on drone technologies, on robotics, on deep learning, you name it. Emerging technologies are crucial for us to be true participants to create value. It's not something that we should just talk about and niceties in languages and statements. It's things we have to roll our sleeves and to do it. And to do it, our governments, our private sectors, our communities must empower our youths and our women, because they are at the forefront of this. All the countries that are leading, the triggers and the initiators and those driving it are youthful. So let's look towards our youths and our women, provide the spaces and the resources for them. They will lead us. Government provide the space and facilitation. And I say, we are encouraged with what we have seen that President Kagame and your Honorable Minister of ICT is doing in that regard. They have paved the path, and we hope that it will accelerate further so that it can be a shining example not only for Rwanda but for the global community. I think Rwanda is doing already what needed to be done, which is to ensure that we have capable, competent, courageous women with conviction in leadership positions, because this will send a signal. It will send a signal to the women, you folks, that they can do it, that nothing can stop them. So increasing the number of capable and competent women in key leadership positions across the digital ecosystem and mobile ecosystem will ensure that many young women are participants. Furthermore, Rwanda is already strengthening curriculums across the education ecosystem, having special programs that will target young women into STEM and into coding and into IT-related elements, and provide them with the resources and the environment, will ensure that there is a sustainable pipeline of young women who will not only be participants and spectators in the evolving mobile and digital ecosystem, but will be true developers and producers in the mobile and digital continuum, and not only consumers, and will eventually evolve into leadership positions and bring enterprises that goes beyond the borders of Rwanda and Africa, but globally. It is already happening, but needs to be stepped up. It will bring enormous benefits by empowering them, by giving them access to finance, by giving them access to markets, by giving them access to learning content and elements that may not be available to them. It will bring health and information that can save lives. It can help rural women to be able to reinvigorate their participation in agriculture, to ensure of food security and food systems, and also to be true participants of market of their produce across beyond the rural communities. It will truly enlighten the rural folk and make them true participants in the global or rural or national and regional economies and not to be at the periphery of it.
The head of innovation and partnerships at the Commonwealth, Abik Sen, noted that closing the gender divide is the most important priority of the Commonwealth.
First of all, closing the gender divide is one of the most important priorities of the Commonwealth. Gender mainstreaming is at the heart of the Commonwealth's values and principles and practical work in terms of projects and policies. We know this is not easy to do, but with new technology and digital platforms, we have now an opportunity to accelerate the work that all of us collectively are doing to close the gender gap. And even when it comes to the digital divide, we know that women and girls have far less access to digital tools and technology than their male counterparts, right? And until we close these gaps, we can never claim to live in a fair and free world, right? And that is a mission that all of us need to work towards collectively, whether we are governments, whether it is the Commonwealth, whether it is civil society or us as citizens, because this is a work that will probably take some time, but if all of us come together to work on this together using these new tools and technologies, making sure that we do it in a data-driven way. We see the evidence tells us where the gaps are, and we focus our attention on what the data is telling us, we need to do. Then I think we are in a very good position to close this gap sooner rather than later. So you will have seen that in the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting today, the new chair in office, His Excellency President Kagame, has said that all of us subscribe to Commonwealth values, which is why we are all in the Commonwealth, and partnerships is absolutely critical to making sure that Commonwealth values are turned into Commonwealth action and Commonwealth impact. So the outcomes of this particular CHOGM, as you will see in the various documents that have come out today, will concentrate the minds of our governments, of all our institutions, to do what is necessary to close this gap, because we know that particularly here, Africa is the youngest continent in the world. And in 10, 20, 30 years, Africa will be the only continent which is younger on average than what it is today. Every other part of the world on average is getting older. We know that vast numbers of young people Africans are young people, and if we don't close this gender gap for them with the help of technology, then the challenges will increase in the years to come, right? So it is not something that we are doing for just the benefit of other people. This is in our own self-interest as Commonwealth people, Commonwealth countries, to close this gap using whatever tools and technologies we have. Innovation is a great enabler to make use of these new resources, leverage the Commonwealth partnership, and together as the Commonwealth family, make sure that we can get as close as we can to closing this divide.
The CEO of the Commonwealth Business Women's Network Africa, Nana Wanjau, said women have to be taught digital skills as a step to bridging the gender digital divide.
We set up network. Why do we set up these networks? Our role is to focus on women's leadership and women's economic empowerment. And we run our mission through what we call our 3 T's: talent, training, and trade. Wherever we find the talent, we can decide to train it or build capacity, incubate it, but the end game is trade, and more importantly, international trade. At the height of the pandemic in 2020, when we realized that under lockdown, women can no longer trade the way we used to know it, we can no longer travel even for trade missions, we developed an e-marketplace to enable women upload their goods, their services, their products, their personal brands, their corporate brands, and we do online marketing for them so that they can be seen globally. In today's presentation, it was said by GSMA that businesses that go global from the onset have immediately 50% revenue. because they have more than 50% of a global market. They're not just relying on the local market. So the e-marketplace for us became such a key for business women to trade on. Women on the e-marketplace, we also teach them how to pitch businesses. We are here at Chogam. We are attending the business forum. The women have to know how to articulate the business, their challenge, their need, their ask in 3 minutes to a potential partner, buyer, investor. We teach them that. And of course, we build capacity. We partner through partnerships so that we prepare women for international trade. One of the things I know is that Trademark East Africa is also doing a lot of work on cross-border trade, addressing barriers that affect women. One of the things that I know there's a gap is awareness. There's a lot that has been done by governments within the East African community to ease trade for women. But the women are not aware. You find that they're still bribing to get through, and yet it's been eased, but they are not aware. If there's one thing that can be done is create awareness so that the women know their rights and they know the new rules and regulations that ease their trade through the barrier, through the trade borders. I've just talked about the e-marketplace, which is really an e-commerce platform to enable women trade internationally on an e-market platform. But I want to go back also. That question you've asked is very, very important because access to affordable mobile devices, affordable, not just access, affordable, access to internet, those are challenges that have to be addressed. Digital skills, women have to be taught how to use the mobile. Whether you're trading on WhatsApp, whether you're trading on Facebook, whether you're trading on an e-marketplace, they have to be taught how to use digital skills. So there's a gap on know-how or knowledge. So number one, access to affordable gadgets, access to internet, training, digital skills training. That is where we should start. Otherwise, what are we talking about? How are we going to empower women who don't even have digital skills? It's not possible.
The side event under the theme Technology and Innovation, an agenda for Rwanda's term as Commonwealth Chair, was among the last events closing the Commonwealth Heads of Government Meeting 2022. This was produced by Foste Karangira and presented by Fiona Umuganwa on Radio Imanzi.